Hello, viewers from all around the world. This is the Melting Pot, and I'm your host, Izo. Welcome to the show wherever you're tuning from Lagos, from Abuja, from New York, from America, from Europe, from Canada, from Saskatoon. You are welcome to the Melting Pot show, and I'm your host. Welcome on board the show. The Melting Pot Show is a show by immigrants for immigrants. On this show, we talk about topical issues, cultural issues, educational issues, every issue affecting the life of an immigrant or a diasporan that has left his home country to a new country. And we strive to educate, we strive to entertain, and we strive to inform on the show. On the Melting Pot show today, I am not alone. I have a wonderful co host. You will like her face and her smile. She is wonderful and she is delectable. And she is Osas, that's her name. And you'll be seeing her. There we go. Hi, Osas.
Hi, Izor. Hello, everyone. This is Osas. Hello, Saskatoon. Hello, Canada. Hi, UK, US, wherever you're listening to me. I'm happy to be here. Izor, how have you been?
This your red glasses is giving me vibes, girl. I love it. I
Uh,
love it. You're just everything is just wonderful. Come on now.
oh, yeah, red is my favorite color.
Yeah, I see that. How's your
hmm
week been? How's your
Yeah,
weekend
love it.
been?
My weekend has been really awesome. It's been exciting and quite busy too because yesterday, Saturday, I attended a wonderful picnic held by the Saskatoon Info Connect group. It was awesome, held at Pike Lake. We had a lovely time, music, dance, games, all sort of stuff. Yeah, it was nice. And there was a lot of food too.
I totally agree. I was there, man. The food was good and a
hmm
lot. I ate so much. I need to do some gym time to walk off all the calories I got from the picnic.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it was really nice. It
Yeah,
was a great
and
time.
talking about food. So this is interesting because our topic today kind of ties into it. And guys, viewers at
Mm.
home, our topic today is taste migration stories. So I'm going to personalize it. So my taste migration stories. So the quest of an immigrant family to find a worthy substitute to that taste, that local taste they had from back home is always a struggle. You know, when we leave our home country, sometimes some people carry their food, sometimes some people don't. But regardless, you come to a new country and you're trying to adapt to the taste of this new country. You are trying to adapt your palate. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We want to talk about the successes and then the epic failures. You know, one of the most significant changes that migrants face when they move to a new country is the availability, the accessibility, and the affordability of their food. So we want to talk about it today on our taste migration stories. And I know you have, because I have lots of stories. Besides, I'm very
Yeah, sure.
sure you have
Yeah.
quite a number of stories to tell.
Oh, yeah. I have some other experiences, some lovely ones, some successes, and some unexpected failures. I do have those stories too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Coming to a new country, there are so many things you experience. So I have my stories too to share. And we are ready to listen to the viewers to know what their own stories too will be.
yeah. Very soon, we're going to open up the lines for you to call in, but just in case, I'm going to give you the number. So the number to call in is 306 261 9303. And then if you're calling from outside Canada, you have to put the international code, which is +1. I'll take that slowly again. It is +1 if you're calling from outside Canada, and 306 261 9300. So before we start taking calls, let me yarn with you. Let's gist.
Mhm.
So
Yes, so
I know I know that I have a lot of stories to tell. Good ones, not so good ones. Now, but the one that rings in my head, top on the list, is my experience with potatoes and swallows. As a
oh,
Nigerian, swallow is something that it's like you must have it every day or every other day. And for those listening from other climes, what we call swallow is made out of cassava, sometimes from yam. So it's made into a dough-like pudding that you use to eat soup or stew. So it's called swallow because you have to cut it in a mold and then swallow it. Now, I know that there was a time the fufu thing was trending on TikTok. Remember that thing of SAS when they were
oh
talking
yeah,
about
I also, yeah,
fufu?
I watched a couple of
Yeah,
videos where a lot of people were trying fufu for the first time and
yeah.
they were
So,
experiencing it. I think it was interesting.
so talking about that, I wanted to make fufu here. Now, I didn't come with Gary. Gary or cassava flour is something you can use to make fufu easily. So I felt, okay, um, potatoes are still in the family of starchy food items. So I wanted to try it. You know, I said, if I boil potatoes, Osas, hey God, I say if I boil potatoes and then, pound it the way we pound our yam, I should
Oh,
be able to come with some kind of swallow. Man, when I did it, no way.
it
Oh.
didn't turn out as you
I
expected.
ended up with mashed potatoes. It was so
Yeah.
soft and it didn't have that starchy consistency. So I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it. But that was the epic failure part. But later on, I found out that if you do the same thing and you add a bit of oat flour, the Quaker oats, if
Mm,
you grind it and
yeah.
add it, and then you stir it on the pot, you would have that starchiness, that density. So at least I could
Mm.
call that a success. I still get to eat my
Oh,
swallows
that's awesome.
made from
You
potatoes that
see?
I met down here. So
That's the thing about migrating. Then you learn new things. You learn new ways of doing things. That is so much interesting. Yeah. Now I've
yeah,
learned a new way of solving that problem
you have to
from
pay me,
you.
girl. You have to
I
pay
also have
me.
a story now. No problem. I have learned something new. And that is the purpose of this show, right? For us to learn new things, to understand from one another and learn from one another the things we need to do to, in a new environment where you are, things you are not familiar with.
So if you're still tuning in, this is the Melting Pot Show. Welcome if you're just tuning in. My name is Izor, and today our topic is taste migration stories. So we're talking about all our stories, all our epic successes moving from our home country to a new country, and all the things we've learned over the time, and some of the failures that we have, and how available are these food items for you. So I would go off the air shortly for a short break and we'll be back. But just before I go, remember to subscribe, to like, and to comment because we'd like to know what you have to say. So welcome again. We'll go on a short break and we will be right back. Welcome back to the show. This is the Melting Pot Show, and I'm your host, Izo. And our topic for today is My Taste Migration Stories. So if you're just tuning in, please like, subscribe, and comment on our YouTube handles, on our Facebook, and also, if you want to phone into the show, I'm going to give you a number with which you can call in. And the number is 306 261 9300. And if you're calling from outside Canada, remember you have to put in the international code, which is +1. So once again, it's the Melting Pot on radio. Like, follow, and share, and subscribe now. So, before we went on break, I was sharing some of my stories, some of the successes that I've had, and some of the failures I have had trying to migrate my palate. So, earlier on, when I gave a brief introduction about what taste migration story, I talked about accessibility because I said it has to do with moving to a new country and the availability, the accessibility, and the affordability of the food that is indigenous to you. So I remember when I came here in Saskatoon, guys, I stay in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. We only have one, as at then, we only had one African store. So accessibility wasn't such widespread for us. So, and again, it was expensive. I don't know what your experience is, but if you live in Nigeria, something like crayfish, it is the easiest thing to find. I remember way back in Nigeria when they were trying to reach out to those that are the really poor and vulnerable. They would tell the nursing mother that if you can't buy fish, you can't buy meat, you can't buy egg, buy crayfish and grind it and put it in your pap to give your child to drink. That way you get the nourishment that you need. So crayfish is an integral part of every cooking for us. So I came here and I exhausted the little crayfish that I brought. So I said, okay, let me go to the African store to see if I could get some crayfish. Lo and behold, small, very small. I could count the number of crayfish in the pack. I don't think it was even up to 15. And they told me to bring $10. And I was like, wow, $10 worth of crayfish back home would be an entire bucket of crayfish. So accessibility and affordability wasn't easy, although I must put a caveat to it over time because again, it's not all doom and gloom here. So I will tell you the parts that are not so good, and then I'll tell you the good part. I later on found out that if you go to your regular stores like superstores, Walmart, and all the other places, you will find that they have prawns. Prawns and crayfish, they're in the same family, if I can use that term. So I was able to now adapt using that prawn to substitute for crayfish. And that helped me a great deal because I didn't have to like always go to buy that $10. I remember, oh my God, I remember so many things. I remember one time that this 15 pieces of crayfish that we bought had finished. So I needed to make soup and there was no crayfish. I was like, who makes okra soup without crayfish? I don't know. Unless you're making okra and stew. So for viewers that are not familiar, let me explain what okra and stew is. So if you go to your regular store, you will see okra. Okra is like a vegetable. It's a green, slimy vegetable when you cut it. But when we make it with palm oil, we make it into a soup. Unless you're boiling the okra separately and then you're making a tomato paste stew with which you will eat it. So I was telling my husband, I was like, oh boy, no crayfish to make this soup. Oh. He was like, we are not buying that $10 thing anymore. Just cook the soup like that. We'll be eating it with crayfish in our mind. It was so funny, but lo and behold, we made it that day, and we ate it, and it was still tasty. So, well, you learn some, you win some, and you lose some. And during the course of the show, also, we had some interviews with members. You remember when I was talking with Osas, I said that We were in a picnic yesterday, and we also interviewed a few people. So somewhere down the line, we're going to go into those videos, and then you see what they have to say as well concerning their taste migration stories. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. I can't wait to hear your own stories. It never ends, does it? So we will take one of the stories right away, and very soon you would not see my face anymore. You will be seeing the video. So just stick around. It's coming up shortly.
Hello, my name is Fermi, but people call me Aratox. My experience with food, when I was coming, I had a very low expectation. I thought I was going to be eating spaghetti, I'll be eating Oyinbo food, but when I came in, I was really happy because I was able to see bell pepper. I was surprised. I saw tomatoes, I saw spinach. I saw a few things that really surprised me. Another thing was, in Nigeria, we are used to agbo jedi jedi. People that know agbo jedi jedi, where you have to substitute for when you take sweet things and you want something that will lower that in your system. So I substitute clove. I don't know if you know clove. I substitute ginger and cinnamon. I put it in the bottle, put water inside, and that's substituted for my agbo jedi jedi. But overall, my experience has been good because I expected less, but I got more.
Thank you, Feromi, for what you said. I tell you, it's amazing. So again, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I'm glad that even though you even though you thought you were going to be eating only spaghetti, you were able to find spinach and you were able to find bell peppers. Now, talking about spinach, oh, sass, spinach. So I'm from the southern part of Nigeria. I'm from the southern part of Nigeria where we use a lot of leaves to make our food. Vegetable soup, afang, and so on and so forth. So, and ugu is like one staple vegetable that we use all the time. How did you deal with the fact that, or okay, let me phrase the question well. Did you miss ugu when you came to Canada, Osas? Okay, so we'll get back to Osas very soon. So let me tell you my spinach story. So, like I said, ugu is a okay. Ugu is a major staple for us, and it's something you can't do without. You use it in your edikaikon, use it for stew, vegetable stew. Sometimes we just chop it safe and then put it in rice. Some people put it in abacha. There's so many things we use it for. So when I got here, I saw spinach, all right. Spinach is like water leaf. So that was really good that I met spinach. But I was craving, oh my gosh, I was craving edikaiko. My Calabar brothers, my South Nigerian brothers and sisters, you can understand my craving. I was craving it. So I tried to use just spinach to see if I could achieve that same vegetable soup. My first try, it didn't really get there. It didn't get there, but I want not to give up. So I decided to. Are you with me, Osas? Can you hear my story?
Yes, I am. I can.
Yes.
I
So,
can
like we
totally
say,
relate.
like we
I
say,
have an
story,
experience
story.
too.
So I
Story,
found out,
yeah.
I found out that you see this spinach. If you take spinach
Mm-hmm.
and you take kale, the one that has like serrated edges, jaga, like we will call it jagged
Sure.
edges. If you cut it, and then the spinach, if you saute it in onion so that it can lose some of that water, and then you add the kale to it,
Oh
edika iko
my.
don show. So that's how I was able to adapt
Yeah,
spinach to be
I
able
can
to
totally
still get
relate.
that test. Yeah. So do you have a
Exactly. I
spinach
also
story
had
for
that
me?
experience. Yes, I also have something like that. I we are almost from the same environment, and I
Yeah.
also had to use spinach to make something more similar to what I'm used to back home. And it was like an epic failure because at that time, the spinach, when I heard before I landed in Canada from other senior migrants that had landed ahead of me that, oh, you could use spinach and kale as alternative to making that soup, to get that result that you are looking for. So I went ahead, got spinach, got kale, but you see, it was so watery because the kale itself, or is it the
Yeah.
spinach here actually,
It's a spinach.
released so much liquid that the soup did not give me that thickness I was looking for. So it was just watery soup, and the vegetables were not just coming together. So it was really it was like an epic failure. But over time I had to learn some successes. Like the example you gave, I had to learn how to like make sure that I can look for a way to squeeze out the water in it, the juice in the spinach, so that it's less liquidy when I eventually mix it in my soup. And yeah,
Hmm.
I have adjusted. That's one thing you
Yeah.
learn in a new environment. You look for
That's true.
alternative
That's true.
solutions. Nevertheless, I still don't get that home flavor, right? The flavor from the
Hmm.
original soup I'm used to.
Ugu and
However,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
still something. Yeah.
so on a lighter
Yeah.
note, when you were talking about watery soup, I remembered something my dad used to say. If you make a
Okay.
watery soup for my dad, do you know what he would say? He would say he would
Mhm.
start eating it from his elbows. Do you know why? I would explain.
Okay.
Because
You're gonna
once you take
feel.
it, it trickles down. So he will say, this soup you
Mhm.
made, I'll start eating it from my elbow. So when you said what you soup, I just started laughing because I could just totally see my dad's face saying, this soup, I'm going to eat it from my elbow.
Oh yeah, I get
So
you. I know because
if
the dripping.
the
Yeah.
dripping is, oh my God. If you're tuning in, this is the Melting Pot Show. And today's topic is taste migration stories. So you probably met us in mid laugh and you're wondering, what are these ladies laughing about? We are talking
Mhm.
about how we've been able to adapt our taste buds, our palate to our new environment in Canada. I know the people in UK, they have similar stories because Nigerians, we love our food. And you might say, oh, is this only Nigerians? Indians, Asians. You know, when you move from a new country to another country, it's always different. And I even know that if the Canadians are to leave Canada and go to Nigeria, they will miss their poutine. So can you get poutine from the things that we have? So that's what we're talking about today. And to be part of the program, to be part of the show, you have to go to our YouTube channel at the Melting Pot on Radio, as well as our Facebook page. Like, follow, share, and subscribe. And then you can be part of the conversation. Also, to be part of the conversation, you can phone in. It's also a phone in program. And the number to call is 306 261 9303. I'll take that slowly again. If you're calling from outside Canada, you need to put the international code, which is +1 306 261 9303. So subscribe, like, follow, and share at the Melting Pot on Radio, and you will be glad you did. So, Osas, we have to be gisting this thing.
Oh my.
We
I
have
have
to be
so
just.
many
So, I
stories.
know we've been talking about food. Now, let's talk about prep time and preparation. So, what are the
Mhm.
things that when you came here, like for me, I found out that in a way I could use other methods of cooking because back home we deep fry or we boil or we roast. But coming here, I find that I do a lot of baking, which I didn't used to do before. I had a gas cooker that had an oven. I never put anything inside.
Oh
But here I
wow,
find
yeah.
myself, not once. As a matter of fact, the first time I made meat pie here and I showed my sister, they were like, when did this start? I was like, I don't know, maybe I'm adapting. So, what are the things that in cook prepping and other styles of cooking that have you had to do coming to this new country?
Oh, yeah. One thing I discovered when I got here was that prep time is a little bit, cooking time is way faster than what I was used to back home. Yeah, because so many things are a bit softer, or the consistency and the texture it comes with. Take, for example, cooking meat. I find out that the meat here is way softer. So back
Mm-hmm.
home, I spend longer time boiling or cooking my meat to the taste, or to the softness
Yeah.
texture I want. But here it's faster, it's kind of easier, especially because, well, I'm more exposed to some new gadgets I use in the kitchen equipment. Take, for
Mm-hmm.
example, um using the pressure cooker or the pressure pot.
Yeah.
Not to take I use the pot back home, but it was not as frequently as I use it here. And the instant pot, or using the grill. And I have the
Yeah.
example, like you said, I hardly use my oven back home. It was just more of a cook and boil on fire kind of thing. But here I find it so easy, so many things you cook. Let me give you an example of one of my experiences with chicken. Yes. So
I
I
hope
had
this
this
story will
experience
end
with
well.
chicken. No. Well, maybe not so well. It was one of the failures, well, before I had to learn to adapt and adjust my cooking style, So I got this pack of chicken from a store, and I was so happy, like drumsticks and thighs, chicken thighs, and I got it home, and I was expecting to cook for the length of time I was used to cooking, and that's like cooking that chicken thigh for close to 10 minutes or 15 minutes at times, depending on the quantity, for you to get the final softness you want. And I put this
Mm-hmm.
chicken on the fire just as usual, and I went in cooking. And do you know, by the time the chicken, I opened the pot to look into the chicken, I mean, it was already like dissipated. It's like so separated from the bones, and it was already trashed.
You had
I was
mashed
like,
chicken.
wow. Yeah, yeah. You can call it that. Yeah, it was my shredded chicken.
Okay.
So that gave, so it was really different because it didn't really meet the purpose I wanted it to meet. But nevertheless, I learned one way not to cook those kind of
Yeah.
chicken. And I had to learn that there's soft chicken, hard chicken, and different
Mm-hmm.
styles of cooking them. So now, yeah, I adopted, and I had to learn something.
Mm-hmm.
That was like an epic failure because it was all trashed in the sauce and in the soup. So I had to turn it into something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's yeah. So the cooking time was really one of the ways that I learned to adjust cooking times from different meals when I got here.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm glad at least you were able to get that figured out. So their wins, they are not their failures, yeah. But another thing I think that was also a good thing when we came here, back home, I'm talking about kids now.
Mhm.
The breakfast cereal we had was kind of limited to cornflakes and which other one did we have again? I think there was
Uh,
another one. There was another
no,
one,
don't
the breakfast cereal. I can't. The name doesn't come to mind now. But when you come here, there is such a large array of
mm,
breakfast cereal. You have the cocoa pops. You have your cornflakes. Yes, you have so many. So we're going to hold that thought. I think we have a call
yeah.
coming in. And then once we take the
Woo!
call, we will come back and we'll continue our gist. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, this is the Melting Pot Show. Can you hear me? Okay, we'll come back as soon as the call comes through, but let me continue my talk about cereal. So I
Mhm.
noticed that when I took my son to Walmart, he at first he was confused though because there was so many to pick from. And then we started trying out we tried shreddies. He didn't like shreddies. We tried this other one, that Lucky Charms.
Rice
Oh,
cakes.
there was a
Okay.
time Lucky Charms was charming all of us in the house. He will eat it morning, noon, and night. As a matter of fact, now he
Mm.
doesn't eat Lucky Charms anymore. I say you have charmed yourself.
Okay, we have a
You have
call.
charmed yourself. Yeah. Okay, we have a call coming in. This is the Melting Pot Show. May we know who we're speaking with? Hello? Hello, I can hear you. If you can hear me, can you speak up, please? Okay, we are having a bit of technical issues. As soon as we get that sorted out, but please don't still call in. It will come true. We need to hear your stories, and I know you have something wonderful to tell us. So as soon as that is sorted out, please keep calling until you can get through to us. Again, the number is +13062619303. And then if you're calling from Canada, you don't have to put the +1 306 261 9303. Remember to subscribe, like, comment. We can even take your comments as the show is going on, and then we can hear your stories as well. So I was talking about Lucky Charms. He charmed himself so much with Lucky Charms that he can't stand it anymore. Now he has
He lost the charm.
he lost the charm. He lost the charm.
Yeah.
So now he has migrated to Cheerios. So he's sharing with Cheerios.
Yeah.
Cheerios morning, noon, and night. So that's a good thing. At
But
least there's that wide
actually,
variety.
I remember back home, one thing I would say is that there were a lot of variety of cereals. There were not just as many, like so common everywhere. You
Mm-hmm,
have to like go
mm-hmm,
to high-end stores to get them because I know
mm-hmm.
we had the Kellogg's with
Oh yeah, that's true.
the Rice Krispies, yeah, the
Mm-hmm,
Cocoa Balls pops too. I
mm-hmm,
mean, we tried them back home. So with cereals, I remember we had variety of cereals back home too, actually. So
mm-hmm.
cereals
But they were
personally for
quite
me it wasn't a
expensive too.
new
Yeah.
thing.
Mm-hmm,
Well, yes, that could be another thing depending on where the country you're coming from, right? We had
yeah.
different pricing and different exchange rate here because most of them were kind of imported. Yeah, but here they're
Mm-hmm,
really locally produced. So, yeah, readily
yeah.
available.
It's.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, what about fruits? Were there any fruits that you heard
Oh,
about
my.
before you came? And when you came here, how was your experience?
One important thing I loved was fruit, the array of fruits, right? Oh,
Yeah,
we had
yeah.
so many options. Personally, I find it easier here to get access to variety of fruits than when I was back
Mm-hmm.
home. So I would say one of the positive yeah successes I heard, you get to see peach easily, grapefruits, things were not as easily accessible because of maybe the weather and
Yeah.
environmental differences. Like
Mm-hmm.
back in Africa, where I come from, we don't really have access to apples. Was more or less imported, right? Because we don't grow
Yeah.
them in our country. So
Mm-hmm.
it was something that was like a, what will I call it? Something that had to do like, oh, it was something of prestige, right? Or something like, oh, an apple a
Yeah.
day was something good. But here, apple is just like everything, everywhere. It's something we eat frequently. So I enjoy the variety of fruits there that we get in this new country. So it's one of the things I really, really appreciate about my migration to Canada.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Also, another thing that I now correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind
Yeah.
of feel that the pop they have here is less sweeter
Mm.
than what we have back home. Because
I
the
agree
first
with you.
time, yeah, the first time I drank Coke, I was like, maybe because now this was the way I tried to explain it because I bought it from one of these um, eateries. I won't call the
Stores.
name. The one you have
Okay.
to put ice and then pour the Coke into it. So when I
Hmm.
drank it, I was like, blessed they add water for this thing. So that was what I said to myself. Now that's pidgin. So I
That
have to
is
explain
lovely.
what I just said. I said in
Yeah.
pidgin, which is a kind of lingua in Nigeria, that is like this is adulterated. So when I bought the
Mm.
bottled Coke and I drank it, I still had that same feeling. I was like, this seems watered down. But I later on found out that I think we have uh I don't know if it's sweeter or I really don't know, but I just know that there was a difference. And it took me a while because
Uh,
I am an ardent fan of Coke. So with time passing, I've kind of migrated from so my own taste
mm.
migration is from Coke to Pepsi. I wasn't a Pepsi person. Now I'm a Pepsi because it's Pepsi seems to kind of do it for me now, I suppose, Coke. So that was also something that I also had to adapt to, missing Coke from Nigeria. But it's all good. At least we're healthier for it.
Oh yeah, yeah, I agree with you actually because I have always been a Fanta person, Fanta orange kind of person, you know. So I realized that Fanta too had a different satisfaction when you drink it because back home
Hmm.
when it's chilled and you take a kind of like a sip or a drink of soda that's Fanta, pop or anything, you realize that I realize you get this gassy, gaseous feeling where you know it
Yeah,
goes in
yeah,
and you get like you fill up fast. But here
yeah.
it's just like a little bit tepid, I would say, or a kind of
Exactly. It's diluted
just
somewhat.
calm. Well, I don't
Yeah,
know if it's diluted because I really don't know how it's produced, but I can just say it's not as gaseous, it's not as carbonated.
yeah.
Yeah, as what
Hmm.
we had back home in Africa. I really don't know which is
Hmm.
better, whether health wise, but I want to believe that it's maybe it's better, it's for the better, it's for the good,
I want to
of
believe so
everyone.
too. I want
Not
to
to
believe.
have too much of maybe sugar or flavor in your
Yeah,
soda. Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah, I'll take it. It's just
yeah.
part of migration.
Then another thing was milk. Milk for
Hello.
I
Oh
was
my
a
God.
lover of powdered milk. Okay, we're going to try the lines again and hopefully we
Yeah.
can get through this time. Hello, this is the Melting Pot Show. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, good. Can we meet you?
Our
What's your
first time
name?
caller,
Welcome
can we
aboard the
give a
show.
clap?
Yay!
Okay.
Woo!
Yeah. I have to be the show. My name is Uchechi. I'm calling from Saskatoon.
Hi, Uchechi.
Hi,
Nice meeting
Chechi.
you.
Yeah. Yeah,
So we
I have
can.
been enjoying the show. I actually have an experience with spinach, and while Isa was talking about it, I just remembered, and I just thought to share my experience as well.
Okay. Go ahead,
Hello.
Uchechi. Go ahead. We can hear
Oh,
you
okay,
loud and
yeah.
clear.
So when I came into Canada, I also had that craving for afang because before I came to Canada, I was from Palates, and afang is one of the Kai Kong afang. They are like one of the major um meals you like to have back home. So I actually wanted to prepare something like that. So I went to superstore, got spinach and all of that, squeezed, cleaned and squeezed, and I was able to get a nice consistency, very watery, like it looked really good.
That's good.
And then I was ready to eat, and I ate the food as much as I wanted, even though it didn't give me exactly the taste like taste from back home. But I mean, it was able to satisfy that craving at that time. However,
Hmm.
minutes later, oh my God, you have to have the effect of spinach. I don't know how many times I had to visit the toilet on that day. So in
Oh.
using that, I don't think I know that you might be able to achieve that consistency, but it's say they say if no be Panadol, no be the same thing as Panadol. So basically, I think
Mhm.
so. Yeah, I just thought to tell you that.
Oh, thank you, Chechi. We really appreciate your story. So the
That
thing
was
is, I would
awesome. Yeah.
say maybe next time, if you fry the spinach in oil, maybe that will help so that you don't have to
Hmm.
go to the restroom, more frequent than you should. But thank you. We appreciate your call. Thanks for phoning in. Thank
Yeah.
you, Chechi. Thank you. So
Thank you so
viewers,
much.
Yeah,
Keep up the
Uchechi.
good
Thank you for calling
yeah.
in. Yeah. Uchechi is our
Bye.
first caller. Yee,
Thank
bye.
you. Yay.
Yeah.
So, those tuning in, this is the Melting Pot Show, and our topic today is Taste Migration Stories. I'm your host, Izo, and I have a wonderful co host here. Her name is Osas. I like calling your name with
Hello,
style. Yeah, I'm telling
everyone.
you, because you look really stylish.
Oh my goodness. I like the way you call it. Oh, sass. Yeah.
Osas.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
subscribe to our channel, like, share, comment
Call for
on the
break.
show, and we'll go for a short break. And when we come back, the gist continues. And please continue to connect to this program by calling our lines and by commenting on our YouTube channel. We'll go for a short break and we will be right back.
Okay, my taste story. Okay, the first thing I'll share is coming from Nigeria. I loved ugu and egusi a lot, mixed with a sprinkle of bitter leaf, just to spice it up. But getting here, I brought some dried ugu leaf and dried bitter leaf. But when I tasted it, I didn't like it
If
at
you
all. So
can,
I threw everything away, about 3 kg of
if you can
dried
hear me,
ugu and bitter leaf,
is
and
here.
I substituted it for kale and spinach. But unfortunately, it's not really the same. So I don't do much of swallow anymore because I really don't like the taste. And in terms of yam, I've been here for 7 months and I've not tasted yam for once. Tried to substitute it for sweet potato here. If you get here, if you are coming to Canada, know that sweet potato in Nigeria is different from the sweet potato in Canada. The one I bought they told me sweet potato, but it was orange in color, and I couldn't eat it. So I will basically say I've not tasted anything tuber, yam, cocoyam, potato, all sorts. I've not tasted it since I got here. Chada, bye.
To the show. This is the Melting Pot, and our story still remains My Taste Migration Story. I have another co host, and she is just wonderful. Her name is Emma, and you will soon hear from her. Emma, are you there, girl? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. How you doing, Izor?
Everybody knows you as Emma, but I know you as MC Black.
Yes, yes, yes,
Welcome.
yes. I'm here. Thank you.
Welcome. How are you,
Thank
darling?
you.
You look beautiful.
I'm
You look
doing great,
radiant.
and you? Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, blue nails. Oh, come on now. Yay.
All
So I
right.
know you've been following the show and I know you have lots to tell. So, like they say, hit me with your story.
Whew. Okay, very interesting story. So I remember vividly when we came in the first time. My husband bought this bag of rice, and it looked so whitish, very white rice. And I was like, what kind of rice is this? It's so white. So I didn't know that this rice was not the ordinary rice I was used to. And I put it in water, did the normal washing, put it in water. I was like, okay, let me cook rice. Then, well, I noticed that not long after, the rice was now it was looking soft inside. So I said, should I? Okay, let me just wait. So I waited. Then my mind was like, go and check that rice. That rice is over soft. I was like, where did I put the rice now? Only for me to just use spoon. And I was bringing out soggy rice. Like, I now went to go and read the
Ooh.
pack again. I was reading. I was looking for instruction. I went to go and Google how to cook extremely white rice. Then it was now saying that there is a special pot for it. There's a special pot they use for, they call it rice cooker or something, like rice pots.
Oh,
I have to get the
right,
rice
right.
pot, and I don't have to overcook it. Like it's a very, and you have to put very small water. What? Now, okay, I was like, okay, now that I've cooked the rice, let's not look like as if we're wasting rice, because I can't go out to go and buy parboiled rice. All right, let me. Eating the rice was a total failure. Like it was not
Oh,
okay.
so sorry
I didn't
about
like
that.
it. So I now started asking. That was when people were like, you have to. There is a parboiled rice so that you have to buy. Those ones are different from this one. This one is like more like the type they use in making sushi. So that's why you cannot. My goodness. I was like, wow, it was crazy. Then of course we have the spinach and kale gist, it
Story.
hit me too.
Yeah.
So, and Edika Kong is my soup. Afang soup
Yes,
is my soup. I'm from
so
Akwa Ibom
Carabao
State,
people.
back in Africa, So only for me to get here and I'm like, what is this? And I was, when I came in around 22, I was pregnant. My
Oh,
cravings were
wow.
like hitting the roof. It was overboard. I
Oh
was
my
I
God.
was going crazy. So I would like, okay, I want to taste this. I can't. I want to eat afang. I can't. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like I'll be scrolling on Instagram. I'll be seeing nice delicacies. I'll be so sad. I'll be like, if only I were to be in Nigeria. I'll be missing. There's this place we call Mama Puts. This local street
Street
food.
food.
We call it Mama
That's,
Puts back in
yeah.
Africa, right? So I'll be missing Mama Puts, the taste. I'll be craving. I'll be like, oh my goodness. Like at some point, I had to tell myself, girl, you're here to stay. You have to make up your mind on, the things that you're going to use to make your life more bearable, to make your pregnancy
Yeah.
bearable. So God being so sweet to me, I had Yoruba friends that were that knew how to, like this my Yoruba friend, like she knows how to cook. Her house, I used to call her mega restaurant. Her house is
She
an
can throw
eatery.
down.
Once you're going to her house, hey, is it a foriro you want? Is it, what do you want to eat? She will give it to you. So I had that friend on standby. I had other friends too on standby because they were helping me with my pregnancy cravings, right? And they introduced me to African store where I bought, ingredients, lots of condiments that helped me to like cope with my present situation. And now I can tell you for free that I'm a pro in using what I have to get what I want. You understand?
Exactly.
So yeah.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah.
Also, I love cake a lot, I love cake. Cake is like, So I noticed here that the cake, I used to bake back in Nigeria, by the way. And I noticed that the cake that I eat here is different. The taste is different. It's softer,
Yeah, that's true.
and the
It's creamier.
vanilla taste is
Yeah.
creamier, softer, and it's not. But I was not like, I like my home cake. This one is giving me. At some point, you will like it, but later on, you still, I don't know what it is with our throat. We still want that. We want that wholesomeness in the throat when you're gulping it down. It's feeling like you're gulping down something. You're swallowing something because the one here is so soft. So I now started getting ways to like bake my own cake. And I would say right now we are doing great, unlike before. But right now we're good.
Good.
Yeah.
So I just have one quick question for you. Have you been
Mhm.
able to find an alternative to Ungolo and Isam? Now hold that thought. Hold that thought.
Ah,
We'll come back to you. We have a call. We have a call. I need to know. I need to know. We have another call. Who's our caller? Can we meet you? Hello, this is the Melting Pot. Hello, are you there? Can you hear me? Okay, we'll keep on.
Oh, I
So
think
tell
we
me,
lost
girl,
that caller.
have you been able to find substitute to Isam, Ungolo, and all those deliciousness from Akwa Ibom?
I can't say you can never find substitutes to such things, right? And I thank God for our African brothers and sisters that have brought in these things dried. So there is a method to that. So I won't say I've not found any substitutes unless maybe you want to use more of shrimps, maybe all this you're trying to use seafood to achieve that. But
Yeah,
trust me, there is
yeah,
nothing like the real thing. You understand?
the
So I
real
always
deal.
go
Yeah.
to the African stores, or I patronize solo vendors, vendors that just do it on their own,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
people that bring these things in, they give it to me, and I must also commend them because the way they were able to like bring these things to make cooking seamless for us,
Yeah.
it's really really
Totally.
commendable. I'm clapping for
Totally.
them because they're
Yeah.
special people.
Totally.
Yeah, because I now
Totally.
learned that you can actually dry periwinkle, and also when you're trying to use it to cook, you just put it in water for some time. It's not going to soften up and become fresh again,
Mm-hmm.
right? So all these
Mm-hmm.
things were like
Yeah.
new discoveries for me. So yes, I couldn't
Exactly.
find substitutes to periwinkle. I had to go and get the regular periwinkle, even snail. I now noticed that you can dry snail. I never knew all these things could happen, right? And I want
Mm-hmm.
to also add that I noticed that we have so many different types of spices here. Back home we are used to curry, thyme, and maybe it was
Your seasoning cubes.
recently that turmeric.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Turmeric now started making waves. Like people were not like, oh, it's very, very this, it's very that. But when I came here, black pepper, white pepper, turmeric,
Coriander,
oregano, coriander,
Oregano. Yeah.
so
oregano.
many.
Yeah.
Thank you. So many things. I was like, wow. And I started experimenting. I started
Yeah.
experimenting. I was like, okay, this tastes good. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
must say that despite the fact that there are failures, there are also,
Yeah, there are
those
successes.
that
Yeah.
adventure. Yeah, there's success. It's like an
The
adventure, and I
adventure. Yes.
love
I think
being
I
very,
think
very
the
adventurous.
adventure is yes. So, when you mentioned curry, I was laughing because I have an interesting curry story. So when I came here, I went to the store and bought curry. I just went to, I think, one of the stores called, and I bought curry. And we use Lions or Ducros back home as the brand name that makes the curry. And the ones I got here, actually got it from a Chinese store. It wrote curry on it too, but it was giving me more like Chinese cuisine. So I was like, what's happening? And then in my ignorance, I thought curry was like same as curry leaves. So I went to an Indian store and I bought curry leaves. I still didn't get that curry I was looking for. And one thing you would admit coming here is YouTube has become our friend. I went to YouTube. I said, how do you get Nigerian curry? I found out that curry is a mixture of many things. I never knew, even back in Nigeria, that curry that is in Ducros Park or Lions is a combination of turmeric, coriander, rosemary blended down. So now I
Oh,
manufacture
seriously?
curry at home. Oh. I never knew.
Oh
Yes,
my God.
it's a combination
Oh,
of many things. So now I blend my
oh,
own
okay.
Also,
curry. I am
you know
I
how
am
you
CEO
you
managing
still
director of curry.
yeah, you know how you
Oh
still
my God.
use
I think I
curry
need.
despite the fact that it has all those ingredients, and you are still putting the same ingredients that you've already put in the food.
Mm-hmm. 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 Totally.
You see
Mm-hmm.
yourself using
Mm.
curry, thyme, oregano, everything. Meanwhile, the curry has everything that you just you just put
You
in,
see, I'm
so you are
learning
maybe putting
a lot from
excess.
this show. Discussing with you guys, it gives me so much in understanding because I am adventurous, but maybe not as adventurous as but yeah, and that is why we like a lot of people to listen in because we get to learn a lot of new things on this show. I'm learning now that the curry we were used to back home was a combination of different things. I've never heard it before, and I was thinking curry was made from curry leaves. Now I've learned from you,
No,
Izon,
not at
that
all.
curry
Not
leaf
at
and
all.
the curry powder we were used to are two different things, right? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
many interesting things. Yeah. So, like Ibrahim said, I agree that when you come here, you become adventurous. You actually to adjust to the new system and to learn new things because then the failures become successes. Yeah, so it's really,
Definitely.
really
So
interesting
true,
learning from
Sas.
you
So
guys.
true.
Mm-hmm.
So I would want us to talk on one thing that I know that resonates with us. It is the staple snack of the raining season back home, which is corn. You know corn,
Oh
the
my
one we
God.
eat, or maize. Look at the babe's eyes.
Oh my God.
You
Ah,
don't want to go
Amen.
there.
Maybe you should go first. Go first. You go first.
see, my darling, see, if I had known that the corn that I was going to buy then, oh, like it's the same sweet corn that they package for us and send back to us back in Africa. It's crazy. It's crazy because when I tasted the corn, I was like, "What is this?" And you don't, you can't even be deceived, and be like, I'm gonna try this one. They are all the same. Everything is sweet corn. You're eating sweet corn. I'll be eating. I'll be like, and it's so soft. It's not giving me the other vibe. The worst is the pear. Oh goodness gracious! The pear
Oh,
is frozen. Oh, you can go on. Like I'm sure if I
amen.
if I say more, we're not going to go home today.
Okay, and then we have a call coming in. After that call, we'll come back to you. So let me give you time to cool down. Let's take a call. Okay, this
Yeah.
is the Melting Pot Show. If you can hear us, I would love to meet you. Hello, caller. Hello, Abigail. You're our second caller. Welcome to the show. hmm So I know you have a wonderful story for us. So I'm going to zip up so I can hear you.
Is the fact that nothing really prepares you for the fact that you need to acclimatize, you need to get used to the new place that you're in, right? So one of those areas for me was Turkey. Back home, when I want to buy turkey wings, right? There's a way they look very big and they have a particular shape.
Mhm.
So here, when I was like, oh, I want to buy turkey, right? And I didn't find will I say the spec? Let me call it the spec or the type that I was used to as a mom. Even when I bought like turkey from these restaurants, it was looking
Yeah.
like wings, right? Back home, you
hmm
hardly get the
hmm
turkey wings. You get those thick parts of the turkey wings. So that was a shock to me. Eventually I had to like start getting used to chicken, eating chicken and all that. And another story for me was MM's story. When MM was saying her story, I was just laughing because I came to Canada and I stayed at my friend's home and I was like, let me cook rice, right? And I put the rice on the fire. The way I do it at home, and I walked away. 20 minutes later, the rice was soggy.
Oh my
My friend was
gosh.
like, Abigail, you know Sabi cook rice. So I was shocked. Plus the whole idea of back home I'm used to gas and here the electric burner, the whole thing was so confusing. But
Oh
I'm
wow.
grateful. So far so good. I've gotten the new way of cooking rice
hmm
and
Yeah,
even
yeah.
getting used
That's the
to
beauty of
turkey.
it. With time, you learn and you improve and you adapt. So that's the beauty.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Abigail. Thank you. We really appreciate your story. You made us laugh. And I'm glad that now you have learned a thing or two about cooking rice.
Yeah, thank
Thank you
you.
for calling about the show.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Izor. Great
Just
job,
remember
Osas
to
and
like and
MM.
subscribe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Thank
will.
Okay.
you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
Bye.
calling. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Keep the lines open. Keep calling. We want to hear your stories. We want
Tell
to
them the
laugh
number
with
to
you.
call.
We want to learn from you. And the number to reach us on is 306 261 9303. If you're calling from outside Canada, please remember to add the international code, which is +1. I'll take the numbers slowly again. Is 306 261 9303. This is the Melting Pot Show, and our topic today is My Taste Migration Stories. So I'm going to ask Osas a question. One of the punchlines that is part of this our topic is the affordability of our indigenous food here. So what do you think? Are they affordable? Like I know that you can find plantain here, which was a blessing to me because now we have to eat plantain and fish. We, the
Oh yeah.
southern Nigerians. Oh my lord.
Dodo and
The spirit is
rice.
catching me now, I'm telling you. So it was a
Yeah.
blessing that I came here and I met plantain. I was like, wow, okay, dodo and rice is a shore banker, dodo and beans is a shore banker. Plantain porridge is also a shore
Different
banker. But
types.
what are the other food items that we found here that we can use or we didn't find and we have to go to an African store? Usas.
Oh, well, okay. Looking at it now, like I remember. Let me start from the plantain story, right? I was so excited when I saw plantain on the shelves in the stores, and I was like, "Really?" But I realized plantain here can be really pricey, But I guess it's like it's being imported. I don't think we grow plantain here in Canada, so I think
Mm-hmm.
it's being brought in from maybe Southern America and thereabout. So yeah, I could realize why plantain could be very, very expensive. But it was something that I felt so happy I could relate to because, something that you have been looking for. So you can make a number of dishes with plantain, different
Yeah,
varieties. So it
certainly.
expanded
Certainly.
my menu table. My menu timetable got wider and better with discovery of plantain. Now, there are other things we couldn't get, as specifically things for making soups, like one local soup we used to make back home was what we call egusi. It's called as the melon
Mm-hmm.
seed. So this melon seed is usually dried and then we burn it, and I think it's usually roasted too or something, and then it can be
Some people
used
roast,
in
some people
making
use it straight.
soup
Yeah.
after being blended. hmm
Mm-hmm.
So of course, I've never found that in the shelves in the regular stores. We have to go back to African store to get something like the melon seeds, and a variety of other things I really can't even remember right now, but a lot of different items that we still have to cook from home. Okay, take an example, cocoyam. I know we have cocoyam on
Mm-hmm.
the shelves. I see that once in a while, but not as
Mm-hmm.
frequently as we would want to, make your local cuisine. So you have to resort to going to the African stores to get them at times. And
To
yeah,
get them.
and
Yeah.
because the African stores tend to import them, it makes it really, really expensive, right? Like the affordability you're
Mm-hmm.
asking about. It makes our
Yeah.
local food pretty expensive. You have to spend more because they are not found here. So they are brought in from outside the country, maybe with taxes, customs, and importation and all that. It makes it really pricey. But well, you
Mm-hmm.
have to, is it an acquired taste you have developed that you have to keep up with? So that makes you just still go back to buy them. Yeah, so
Okay, that's good to know. We'll take one more video from the people we interviewed at yesterday's picnic, the Sask Info Connect picnic. And once we're done with the video, we'll come back because I want to ask you something about beans. But we'll come back. So we'll go to the video. And then he's laughing. We'll go to the video and then we will be right back. This is the Milk Show.
Hi, my name is Marina, and I'm going to be sharing my food migration journey and how that has been like in Canada. I first moved to Saskatoon in 2016, and I had a hard time finding the condiments to make our traditional Nigerian dishes. I remember once I was looking for cow skin to make one of our soups, and I put in Google to say, where can I find cow skin in Saskatoon? And the search returned with IKEA because it interpreted cow skin to be leather that is used to make furniture. I'm like, no, not IKEA. I'm looking for food, But now there are African stores around the city that make this condiments more readily available. I also remember that when I had to make soups that needed like normal Nigerian bitter leaf, I couldn't find that, but I find that spinach is a great alternative for water leaf for our soups. And then one other thing I struggled with was finding the right kind of rice that could make our Nigerian recipes. I experimented with a couple and it was an epic fail because for some of them, the rice cooked like porridge, it became like mash, and I had to waste a lot of money just experimenting with all of these options. But Eventually, I find that the long grain, parboiled, no name rice in superstore and wholesale club are great alternatives to make our Nigerian recipes. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey. Sometimes frustrating, but I'm glad that I have alternatives now and I have options now in creating my traditional Nigerian food. So yeah, that's my story.
Oh my God. Thank you, Marina. Your story made me laugh. The part about IKEA. Oh my gosh. I just burst out laughing. For those that
Yeah.
are viewing from different parts of the world, let me explain that a little. So there's what we call cow skin or cow hide, but we call it pomo. So it is the skin of a cow. It is usually burnt and scraped, and then we cut it and we boil it, and it has kind of a rubbery, chewy texture to it. We put it in our soups, we put it in our stew. It's a wonderful staple and a source of protein. So when she said IKEA, they have leather works there because, in a sense, Omo is leather. So you won't blame Google for saying that go to IKEA to buy Pomo.
Yeah.
Man, that is the story for the ages. I don't even know who to
Oh my
ask now.
God, it's
And
very
what do you
funny.
think about that?
Oh, I laughed out loud too. I was like, what? I was trying to relate it, but then again, you can't blame Google. Google doesn't know what Pomo is. So it
Mm-hmm.
took her to the right place. So yeah, and the Pomo here, the cow skin here is different from what we're used to back home. The taste is different. Everything is different. Like you'll be like someone said, he bought goat meat one time and he just noticed that the goat meat was not what he was expecting. And another person chipped in, don't you know that the goats in Nigeria, they go through sweats and they have to hustle for their food. But the goats here, they don't sweat at all. They bring food to them. You understand? So that's the thing here. And everything here is different. Everything you mentioned that you wanted to talk about beans. Let me adjust my chair. I
Mm-hmm.
noticed that the beans here is different. Now, I was looking for brown beans, but I didn't see brown beans. And of course, if you're going to buy brown beans from the African store, it's more expensive. Then someone was like, oh, you can actually use beans from the mall, the shopping mall here. There's a popular shopping mall. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to mention the name because we need sponsors. Anyways, so and they were like, okay, you can go get from the mall. And I got this beans. It was white beans. I'm like, okay,
Black eyed
okay.
peas.
Black Eyed Peas, yeah. Thank you for
Yeah,
that name.
like it,
That
yeah.
was Black Eyed Peas. I'm like, okay, Black Eyed Peas, name of musicians, but that's what they call it here. It's fine. So we were like, let's cook now. So when I cooked it, now I am not a fan of beans. I am this
Mm-hmm.
child that I was very picky with food growing up, very, very picky. So if you are cooking this particular type of food, I'm going to eat my own separately, right? So, and I noticed that beans was something I didn't really like, but maybe because the mom syndrome entered, I now had to look for ways to make beans pleasurable, for me.
Yeah.
So I had to like tweak so many things around cooking. And another thing that really frustrated me was the taste of red oil. I don't know if that maybe anybody
Mm.
has that experience too. The taste of red oil was not the same. I had to get used to it because it wasn't the same. It didn't feel like it was the real thing I was having. And there are
Mm-hmm.
different brands. Like there's one now upstairs. They say it's Ghanaian oil. The red is not redding. It's giving orange kind of
Ready, not
red,
ready.
you know? And I'm wondering, like, okay, the taste is different. It's just not giving the regular red oil that I'm used to. So everything changed and I had to change with it because baby girl has to look good. I have to live. You understand?
Yeah.
We need food
Yeah.
to survive. Yeah. So yes, beans, I had to tweak it. Moi moi. I made back in Nigeria. I hardly make moi moi. I think I can count. I've only made moi moi twice in my lifetime back in Nigeria. But
Mm-hmm.
here in Canada, oh my goodness! When I noticed that you can actually use blender to blend beans, hey, like it's like magic unlocked. You know, I blend do this. I make my mind like no man's business, you know. I'll blend it. It'll be so smooth. I'll put all the things I want to put inside. I get to put it in my fridge. Apart from the fact that we don't get to have that taste from back home, you can agree with me that the ones you're able to get here is able to like satisfy and sustain you for a
Yeah,
very long time.
totally,
You
totally,
know,
totally.
it's just like, I'll use the word adventure again. It's so adventurous. It's just, it's a beautiful thing to experience. So yeah, despite the fact that
Mm-hmm.
there are failures, there are also successes. And the successes, if you are being fair, you can actually say there is a very huge balance, because at some point the successes will outweigh the failures, because you will get
Yeah,
used to other things. You get to used to eating more veggies. You know, look at me.
yeah.
I'm now slim and everything. You know, but I eat more
Ew.
veggies, more fruits and
Ew.
stuff. Yeah. So you
Yeah,
know.
so I think it's the comfort feeling you get when you are able to adapt something that is common here to still mimic something back home. I know that some people say they use lentils to make moi moi. I've not gone that far yet, but I've been able to use I've been able to use the black eyed peas to make moi moi, to make beans, and they are a worthy substitute. They are actually quite good. Osas,
Yes.
so you
Yes.
have something to say, so I'll just listen to you now.
Oh yeah. My own experience about the beans here was how hard, how tough, and how long it takes to cook. The white black-eyed beans that I got to discover that yeah is a worthy substitute to the red beans that I was used to, like that kidney bean kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that it takes so long to cook with the regular cooking style
Cool.
that is
Yeah,
just put in water and put it on the cooker and let
on
it
the stove.
slowly
Yeah.
cook. But for 1 hour, I mean, these beans had not shifted from it was still so hard. It was not even soft at all. I was like, what? When am I gonna finish cooking this? I mean, I couldn't. I had to like, oh my god! I think it was after that experience. I'm like, I must get a pressure cooker. I have to get a
Yeah.
pressure pot. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was one of the things I talked about, getting kitchen utensils or equipment that help you to like fasten your cooking time.
Mm-hmm.
Back home in Nigeria, the red beans I was used to, it takes a while, but after 40 minutes of boiling, you are sure that okay, it's getting to that softness you are looking at, and then you add all your ingredients and complete your cooking. But for 1 hour, I mean, I was even thinking it's going to give me that softness at that length of time, my dear. At the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, it was like with beans that was not so fully cooked. So
Yeah.
that really made me get a pressure cooker very, very fast. And yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
was one major experience I had with the beans of this, in this environment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
listening
so
to
now
you, I
I'm trying
remember
to shorten
something back.
the time to like 10
Yeah,
minutes.
back
Or 30
in
minutes.
our
Yes.
back in our university days, in Uniben, there was this beans that was nicknamed "Oh God" in Uniben. Then it sounds blasphemous, but that was what I will explain it to you. So in Benin, then we didn't have these brown beans. We had the iron beans, which was for the bourgeois, those where their bread rest. And then they had this smaller whitish beans that was like, I think it mimicked this black eyed peas that you're talking about. So you put it in the pot and you come back and it's still not cooked. So you open your pot and like, oh God, this beans never done. So they started calling that beans, oh God, that time. And it was
Oh
quite
God.
blasphemous that the campus fellowship people didn't like it. How can you be calling it beans, oh God? So, but well, we're not going to do that. We love God and we cannot use His name in vain. So,
Yes.
it has been a wonderful show. It has been amazing. We have learned a lot. I know that you have learned a thing or two. You have laughed with us. We've made you remember certain things, and you can put it in the comments if you can't call in. The conversation continues, and we're about wrapping up the show. But I would like to hear from my co-host. They should just give us a final word about our taste migration story, and it will be a wrap. So I'll start with Osas. I like calling your name and then come back to them.
Hey. Yeah, so as a wrap up, I'd like to say that it's been a wonderful show. I've learned a lot, like I said in the show, during the show. It was so nice a conversation. I enjoyed my conversation listening to Amem. It was so hilarious. She had a lovely experience with different types of meals. Yeah, so same with me. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been wonderful. Continue watching and keep it a date with us.
Thank you, Osas. Amen. Over to you, MC Blank.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So for the newbies, I just want to encourage you. Don't be discouraged, okay? You are fine. You will get there. Just like me when I was confused, I got there. Just keep experimenting, taste just be testing your palates, and you'll be able to be like, okay, this is where my heart is, and you stick to it. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful show. I really, really love what we're doing here, and hopefully we get to talk to more, people who are listening in. Thank you.
Okay. I would like to thank everyone that tuned in from wherever you did tune in. We're grateful. Thank you for giving us this time and listening to us laugh, listening to us talk. To those that called in and those that did the voice box, I want to thank you. Thank you, Chechi. Your story about Afang was so interesting. Thank you, Abigail. I now know a thing about Turkey. I'm really grateful. Fair on me, I thank you. I watched your video and I really enjoyed your story. Marina, the IKEA story, I think I will keep that one and tell somebody. It was really wonderful. Thank you to everyone working behind the scene to make us look beautiful, to make this program seamless. We are grateful. And to God Almighty, we say we give you all the thanks. This is the Melting Pot Show. Remember to like, to subscribe, to share the Melting Pot on radio on YouTube and on Facebook. Subscribe, comment. You'll be glad you did. From all of us here, I always like to leave with this: life is for the living. Bye, everyone. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you.
It's been an amazing show.